Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing show. This is the Real Estate Uncensored Marketing Roundtable. And yes, I have my legends with me. I have the one, the only. I have Mr. Gene Volpe. What's up, buddy?
What up, y'all?
Well, okay, good. Guys, a good talk.
All right, listen. All right, you asked for it. Here it comes. Go back to me. Happy birthday. Can we do it? They got to stick through the countdown. When they come through back on the countdown, we'll talk about.
We'll do the rest, and we might know who it is. Not going to say anything, but we don't know. We got Nick Sakis. What up, buddy?
What's up, players? Happy to be here. A lot to talk about today. We got a great guest. I'm excited.
We got a great guest. We're going to leave him in the shadows, though, because we don't want to spoil it. But we have Mr. Jake Wolf with his cup Get Shit Done checkmark box on that one. How are you, brother?
Better than I deserve. You know that.
And you just, I was going to finish that for you because I know your lingo. All right, guys, we're going to our countdown. Then we're coming to our guest. Stay tuned. Oh, I was dancing to my own theme song. That's so weird.
It's a hard stop.
It is a hard stop. I have to get our friendly magicians on this, but because we got a powerful show, and I want to bring in our guest, Mr. Garrett. Man, we are going to crush skulls. Welcome to the show. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and then fill everybody in on whose birthday it is.
Well, I was going to say, so as I was doing some research for the show, did you know there's a guy named Jake Wolf who is a basketball player at Lipscomb University? He's a junior. He averaged 6.7 points last year. So, Jake,
I think you just gave away his incognito.
Yeah.
Nobody was supposed to know that. He's in witness protection, and you just blew it. You blew it.
Sorry, Jake.
I usually wear a wig on the court.
36 is still pretty old to play college basketball, I guess. But no, I mean, I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, my name's Garrett Maroon. I've got a real estate team in Virginia, Southeast Virginia, and a business training company called Business by Referral. And I'm not that interesting. I'm not that exciting, but my team is completely 100% referral. I've been in the business in years. I've only ever done referral, never done anything else. I've been fortunate to do 50 deals a year in about 20 hours a week. And so just really working and understanding the referrals and how that works and the consumer psychology at a high level has really helped me pull that off. So, I've been really grateful for that. And now here to hang out with you guys for a little bit and learn from y'all too.
Dude, we're going to have an absolute blast of a show. I cannot wait to get in the mindset of the consumer psychology. I think that is such an important thing to talk about. But the real thing that's important on this show is going to be how Mr. Wolf has turned 36 for the sixth time.
Yes.
Yet again.
So when we're talking about the psychology of events, ladies and gentlemen, okay, the mind is a powerful thing. The behavioral frameworks of how I turn 36 every single year is important to know. So that's how we go ahead and continue to go ahead and get shit done. But thank you, everybody. Yes, it is the anniversary of my birth, and the 1990s were blessed because of me. So
Because of me. And it sounds to me like for our birthday, somebody's having their lawn mowed.
That is actually me. I apologize. They have impeccable timing of deciding to blow dry the entire outside of my house when there's nothing I can even do when it comes to that. But before we do anything else, I have to do a little of that. Happy birthday, Jake!
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Really well done. Well done.
Jake!
There's going to be lights. It's Cinco de Mayo, everybody. So a little safety briefing. Don't drink and drive tonight. Just
At least
I was getting ready to put my hand on my chest. I thought we were getting a briefing.
a little bit
Listen.
later.
Tomorrow night, you can drink and drive all you want, just not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah, just
Always
stupid.
tomorrow.
Always tomorrow. Never drink and drive.
by the way, there's free drinks tomorrow at the bar, so head on down tomorrow. Besides all the bullshit jokes, Garrett, let's jump into the mindset of the consumer, my friend. You built an incredible business. I don't want to waste people's time, and we know everybody's got tequila and beer and tacos to eat tonight and today. Break it down for us. How did you get in, and how did you start understanding the psychology of the consumer? What does that look like? What does that mean? How do you understand this? Where can we even start with this? I mean, Gene's gonna be taking notes. Jake's already written the book, and Nick and I are just gonna sit back and we're just gonna kick it because we've learned from you already. So walk us down the path, brother.
Yeah. So, man, I got started kind of not. So I was in the higher education world, and I had an opportunity to either get a PhD and progress there, or I could just go into the real estate world. And it was really my wife that encouraged me to check it out and thought that I'd be good at it. I was totally against the idea of 100% commission, did not like the idea, did not picture myself as a business owner. And I jumped in 2014 and started with the team, and I'm really grateful that I did. But, really for me, first of all, I had 40 people in my database. That was it. And it took me 6.5 months to get a paycheck. So I was not doing very well at the beginning. My friend used to make fun of me for going to my nonprofit volunteer job every day because I was getting nothing, no business, obviously no income. All I was spending money. And really for me, I came in knowing essentially that if I was going to do it, I wanted to work by relationship. I wasn't the guy that was going to cold call or didn't want to do open houses, didn't want to do expireds or for sale by owner or anything like that. I wanted to learn how to work by referral. And so I just started on that path and started to learn and understand how it would work and took the basic principles and tried them on my people. And guess what? It didn't work. So it was really, Greg, a lot of failure moments that forced me to figure it out. So for example, the very first failure was I assumed, and I think a lot of agents do, I assumed that coming into the business, and I told my friends, again, only 40 people in my database, but I told my friends that I was an agent. I just assumed that they'd start referring me. Right. I assumed that that's what they would do. And it just wasn't happening. I had a friend that worked with somebody else. Right. And he was a close friend of mine and I didn't understand why. And so I just forced me to go research and understand that people only see you in one context. That's how they remember you. So you see your doctor at the grocery store or whatever, and you think, I know who that is. Oh, that's my doctor, right? There's a moment where you can't remember who they are. Well, the problem is our friends don't refer their past coworker who worked in higher education. Our friends refer a real estate agent. So I had to learn how to get them to think about me that way. And that's really what started me on the path, quite honestly, of I didn't want to just do the activity like everybody else did. I wanted to understand why certain activities worked. And so I just started studying the psychology and how people make decisions and how my actions in the referral world can line up with how people are going to make decisions. And so that was a big piece of that. And that's really what got me started on the entire process.
Wow. That is amazing because it's so true. And I was sitting here thinking about what you're just saying. I mean, my girlfriend's a doctor, right? And so, I mean, she hates it when I fucking say that because she's like, just tell them I'm in medical. I'm like, whatever, bitch, you're fine. You did a lot to get there, so we're good. But like when we're out and about, it's always like, oh, Dr. Fan. I'm like, Doctor, like, you got a fan? Oh, it's you, Jackie. Oh, shit. Because I see her one way, other people see her another way. So your point of view is 100% accurate. And I want to get, Jake and Nick and Gene kind of weigh in on this. And Gene muted himself for some unknown reason. But Nick and Jake kind of lead us off on this, gentlemen. Jake first, then Nick.
So behavioral frameworks are so important as it comes to online sales in different industries. Think about all of the things that we've all been served from an advertising standpoint: thoughts, fears, motivations. People are psychographically developing messages that resonate with you. So one thing that we're doing right now, we're putting together a whole bunch of commercial sets that are going to go into smart televisions, but there's different lifestyle moments. There's fear of missing out. There is motivations to go ahead and sell now before losing equity positions in homes. There's a lot of different things. These are the motivators and the behavioral frameworks. So I think anybody that has a focus on who is your audience, what motivates them, what moves them is very important. So it all comes back into that psychology of how to develop your relationship. And also it really goes into appeasement of helping folks in these certain situations, right? So if there's a motivation of fear, if there's motivations of different thoughts, and also how it pertains to your micro markets and social norms and what other people are doing. There's a lot of things that motivate individuals and groups of people as it pertains to different things in their lifestyle. So we've got a lot of motivation right now. A lot of people are thinking different things in the real estate industry across the United States. So we came through last year. Everybody was told to go ahead and stay home. Now appreciation of home values have increased across the nation over 10%, sometimes even more in micro markets. We've got sometimes sub 2-week inventory in different areas. People are just heavily competing. So I can only imagine all of the buyer fatigue that is actually happening right now in a lot of markets across the US when they're going into competition against 20, 30, 40 or more people all competing against certain low inventory houses that are popping up on the market. So I think coming at that angle from understanding your audience is so extremely important. So you're spot on, my good friend. Good for you.
Good for all of us. Greg's telling me I'm muted and I can't hear him, which is actually a really, really good thing.
I'm going to beat you like a redheaded stepchild, motherfucker.
You're not going to do anything of the sort.
I'm going to come at you with a baseball bat. I know you're from Philly, but I'm from California. Nick, give us your thoughts, and then I want to jump back and get our conversation going with Garrett again. As some questions I've been writing down. So, Nick, what's your take on that, brother?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why I love marketing. Marketing is all psychology, and the whole goal. Honestly, the best marketers don't really try to sell, right? Because at the end of the day, you want your customer to feel like it's their decision, that they came up with it. And that's all persuasion. It's persuasion in the buying process. It's persuasion in knowing exactly what your customer's thinking. And then you're the one who is saying that so that they're vibing with you and then ultimately purchasing from you. But it all comes down to the psychology, the journey, mapping out, knowing the perception or perspective, right? 100 people hear the same message and they're interpreted 100 different ways. So being able to navigate those waters is one of the reasons why I love marketing so much, and really diving deep. When I talk to my clients, it's all about the customer avatar right off the bat. I don't necessarily like to be a generalist when it comes to, especially in real estate, because we struggle with this as agents of, okay, we have a license and we can advertise to 15 different zip codes, but you're not going to be a specialist. You're not going to resonate with every single niche audience within that those 15 zip codes. So you have to understand who you're going after, market to those people, get inside their head, know what they're thinking, and then resonate that with their message, with your message, so that they ultimately feel like, hey, I love Nick. Nick's my guy. My brother's got his real estate license, but he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I'm going to call Nick.
Yeah, 100%. You nailed it on the head. Garrett, let's learn a little bit more about kind of you and how this is putting dollars in the bank account, deals on the board, the whole thing. And because I think a lot of folks, and you can hear us four chuckleheads talk all damn day about our thoughts on this, but you're the real master that's really done this and mastered it. And walk us down this, explain this to people so they can put it into their businesses sooner than later.
Yeah. So, and I was going to say there's two really good books if you're interested in learning. Influence is the first one. Influence by Robert Cialdini, Cialdini. He just explains, he's a psychologist and he explains how people make decisions. And then there's a book called Persuasion. And now the author is escaping me, but you'll find it. Persuasion. And all persuasion is that there's a moment, his entire argument is there's a moment before the moment of persuasion that actually has the biggest impact. And so anyways, just learning and understanding. So back to your question, Gene, but so for me in 7.5 years, and I've done 350 transactions all by referral in 7.5 years. And I literally have 100% conversion rate with buyers and a 98% conversion rate with sellers. And one of the challenges that I think exists, and Nick, you were making this point, one of the challenges that I think exists in the real estate world is we will learn and we will study how to get in front of people, but we're not very good about then studying how they're making decisions once we are in front of them and who they're going to choose. So for example, most real estate agents, most real estate offices are training people that when you go into a listing appointment, let's say that you show up and you make sure that you explain how your marketing plan is the best marketing plan out there, to make sure you explain how you're the best agent that they could sign or work with or anything like that, right? And they just lead with that. I mean, that's what they're taught to do. Have a really robust marketing plan and pitch it to your seller, right? And that's essentially the idea. Well, when we really dive in and understand the psychology, there are 3 questions that everybody is asking when they're making a buying decision. And in this scenario, whether they're going to buy you to be their agent or not. And that's, can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me? So can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me? Now, when you dive in even deeper, so the problem is every single real estate agent goes after the question, are you good at what they do? Are you good at what you do? And they try to answer that for the listing, for the potential seller that they're sitting down in front of. So that's why they show the marketing and all their numbers and blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem is, the reality for them is that when you dive in deeper to the human psychology, first and foremost, the studies have proven a person cannot understand our industry or any industry, and I'll give an example, more than a 2 out of 10 level. Right. So, for example, a non-real estate agent doesn't understand our industry at more than a 2 out of 10 level. I use my dentist as an example all the time. I love my dentist, but if someone asks me, is he the best dentist in town? I don't know that answer, right? I don't understand what it takes to be the best dentist. I would, maybe I could go learn and understand that, but my brain's not wired to do that. I don't have the information that I need. Therefore, I can't make that decision and I can't make that determination. So, and again, all the studies will prove our brains are wired to make the easiest decision that we know we can make and the quickest decision we know we can make. So when we ask the question, is this person in front of me the best person at their particular field? Is this the best dentist I know? The answer is, in my brain, I have no way to figure that out. Therefore, my brain reverts to, well, I can figure out pretty quickly that this guy seems trustworthy. And I can figure out pretty quickly that it's pretty obvious he cares about me based on his recommendations or whatever. Therefore, and again, all the research proves, therefore, my assumption is that he's good at what he does, right? So when we answer question 1 and 3, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Then we actually are answering all 3 questions. The problem with most real estate agents and salespeople in general is they try to only answer question number 2 and they leave, and that client doesn't even know how to answer any 3 of those questions. I'm a real estate agent and I don't even know if I'm the best agent in my area. I know the difference between a good one and a bad one, but I can't even tell you who's the best agent from a skill set perspective in my region, and I'm an agent, right? But yet we assume these sellers who will meet with 3 people, let's say, can somehow distinguish who the best one is, and then we approach them that way. It just doesn't make sense when we really understand how they're actually going to make the decision.
There's so much to unpack there. My esteemed co-host, anybody wants to go first? I got a lot of stuff in there, Garrett. You just dropped motherfucking A-bombs on everybody, man. That's some good shit. Jake, let's go with you.
Yeah, so this is also part of the customer journey and then understanding how people go ahead and process information. So while we were just getting that life lesson, I went ahead and wrote down a couple different things, right? So it's all about gathering, right? So in the gathering column, we've got 2 different types of categories. We've got sensors and we've got intuitives. Sensors tend to be in the present. Intuitives are kind of forward thinking kind of a scenario, right? So that's how they gather information, but then how they process information, we've got 2 types of people. We have thinkers and we have feelers. The thinkers seem to be objective, want firm rules, understand everything else. And the feelers are more subjective and socially gathering information. So to understand that there's kind of these 2 quadrants of how people gather information and process information is so important. And you have to kind of set up your marketing initiatives so that you can kind of hit both columns, and or even if you're in the present moment in front of some folks. And I know a lot of the agents that are watching here, you're always looking at the 2 dynamics. If you're walking into a home that's a seller's presentation, now you have a husband and a wife. And I know a lot of you guys have gone through some research on understanding what kind of person each is, right? The husband or the wife, and then how to properly talk to them or identify who the person is that's kind of the pusher in this scenario, and then cater any of your messages specifically to them. So if anybody hasn't gone down the rabbit hole and done some research, Garrett's absolutely right. Persuasion is a very powerful book. There's a lot of other stuff out there to understand the psychology of the whole transaction process, whether it's service related, selling the largest asset of your life, or purchasing a product. So as I've said multiple times, for me, a lot of people talk about this funnel. For an advanced marketer like myself, I'm always thinking about what are the things that I'm doing to acquire attention. Okay. Now, what are the things that I'm putting in play to go ahead and get them closer to a conversion? And then after a conversion, what are the things that I'm doing to keep them retained with my brand or my products or services so that I can do a cross-sell, upsell, or ultimately from a service-related side of the industry, I want them to think about me before they go to Google and type in Realtor and say that person looks nice.
Nobody likes to just type in Realtor. Nobody. And Garrett and Gene and Nick, please chime in wherever you want to. Garrett, question I have for you, and then I want the other esteemed guest or co-host here. When it comes to attention, Jake brought up a good point there. How do you keep attention to get the referrals? What's something that you're doing on a consistent basis?
Yeah, so I think Nick hit on this earlier too, but my system is very not unique necessarily. It's different in that it's very systematic. So we have a 36 touch that we do. So every month they get a mailer and an email. So that's 2 touches per client. And then every client every month will either get a personal video text message from me or my team or someone on my team. They will get a handwritten note or a pop-by gift the next month. And then we'll do a client party the 3rd month. And we just do that every quarter. So it just continues to recycle itself, right? First month of the quarter, video text, second month of the quarter, note or pop-by, 3rd month is a client party. And so a lot of what we're doing is, and again, I think this is what Nick was talking about as well, but we're not talking about real estate. So number one, we're not talking about real estate at all, because the reality is, my dentist, for example, not that my dentist calls me, but if my dentist were sending me a video text message to check in and see how I was doing, right? He wouldn't need to say, hey, Garrett, by the way, this is your dentist again. How are you? At some point, like, that would just annoy me, and it would push me away probably, because it would just be bothersome. I don't want you to always talk about yourself. This is not supposed to be about you. And so number one, I think one of the problems that people have, Greg, is that agents accidentally are pretending to be interested, or maybe they genuinely are interested in their clients, but they've just listened to the industry that says you need to remind them all the time that you're a real estate agent. And at some point, you're just going to annoy people. And when you talk about yourself, they start to think that you're not really interested in them. And so therefore, the question of, do you care about me, gets answered from a yes to a no. And now they don't want to do business with that person. So for us, it's just the consistency. I only have a database of 300 people. I don't want it to be huge. I want to stay focused on the people that I can actually have a relationship with. And so it starts with really qualifying the people to understand who they are. So everybody that got in my database I asked them the question. So if you had a friend or family member thinking of making a move, do you have an agent you'd refer them to? And if the answer was yes, great. I'm glad you have someone you can trust. And I didn't put them in my database. If they said, yeah, actually, you'd be my agent. Great. I'd love to be your agent. I get their information. If they said no, well, hey, I'd love to be that agent. Do you mind if I stay in touch with you? And I got their information. So number one, every single person in my database and every single person in the database of anybody on my team, 100% of them, when I reach out to them, will either work with me or refer me. So it's just starting by making good business decision. And every time we do anything, we know we're going to potentially get a result from it. And then just being really consistent. I mean, that's the biggest thing, Greg, is just being consistent, showing up and making it about them. So when COVID hit, we came up with ideas of how do we do virtual parties that would be fun for our clients, because we know they're sitting around like everybody else with nothing to do. So if you're just being thoughtful and you're trying to understand, again, answering the question, do you care about me? They're going to want to refer you, because I think the truth is so simple when it comes to generating a referral business that we tend to think it's not true because we like to overcomplicate everything. Someone's going to do business with somebody if they trust you and they like you. It's that simple. If they trust you and they like you, because they don't know if you're the best one. I don't know the contractor that I use. I don't know if he's the best contractor, right? But I know that I trust him and I really do like him. He is a genuinely nice guy. So I want him to come do work and I want him to succeed, right? We want the people we like to succeed. So on the flip side, if I can't stand somebody, then I'm probably not doing business with them. right? So we just overcomplicate what it takes. And at the end of the day, I know statistically, and maybe this is not where you wanted to go, Greg, and I apologize, but I think I shared on the show with you guys, you and Gene, I know statistically that the average person today has fewer than 2 close relationships. So if that's true, what they want more than your skill set is they want a relationship with you. So if you just understand that and you lead with that, not everybody's going to connect to you. And that's true of all of us. But if you understand that and you lead with that and you spend your time building and developing a relationship, who are they going to think of when their friend wants to buy or sell a home? They're going to think of you because they want you to win.
Yeah, I agree. Gene, Nick, guys, thoughts on this one? Because you guys are both masters of marketing when it comes to getting kind of that word out there. Either one of you.
I resonate with what he says. I mean, he was referencing what I was talking about. I've talked about this before from a relationship standpoint, right? You don't want to be the guy or the gal hammering real estate all the time. The title in all of your social media profiles says Nick Sackett, real estate agent, or your real estate agent, or whatever. And then every time you message somebody, that's the first thing they see. It is a little bit off-putting. You can't build a relationship that way, right? The issue that I see from a social media standpoint, to kind of piggyback on that, is it's a content issue. So he was talking about having a system, right? And when people have systems, they have a real business. And he obviously has a real business, right? He knows his numbers, and he's very detail-oriented on this is exactly what happens first quarter, second month, this text, this email, this video. Like that's a proven system that he has, that he's capitalizing on. Same thing on social media, right? So he's got that behind-the-scenes systems of people that actually are already in his world. But what are you doing on the social media side? And the reason why most agents, when I talk to them, or when you can just go look in the market, are only talking about the fact that they made the top 100 list of their, only 100 real estate agents in their brokerage, but they made the top 100 list or whatever. They're only posting about real estate because they have a lack of content. They have a lack of a system in place to actually share unique and valuable action items, whether it's neighborhood information, niche down specifically, knowing who their target is. They're just begging for any kind of business. So they're just splurting, I'm a real estate agent, please let me help you. And back to those 3 pillars of, do I like you? Are you invested in me? And are you good at what you do? If you're constantly asking questions. So like I've some of the best real estate agents that I know don't even have listing presentations. Like legitimately, they're going to a listing appointment and they're immediately they're experts at building a relationship and talking and asking questions to that person, to where it's just overwhelmingly, by the time they're done 45 minutes later, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's got all the answers and he's so invested into my world and what I'm doing. There's no formal, I'm not going to read something to you for 45 minutes and then not have you have any input. So building that relationship, it starts online, getting into their head of exactly what is somebody in this subdivision that has children that goes to this school, what are they thinking about? Create that content. Nobody cares that you made the top 100 list. And then once you're in person with somebody, ask more questions than you answer. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Sales 101.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The funny thing is, Nick, what you're saying there is the fact that I do not have a formal listing presentation, and I take multi-million-dollar listings. I go in there and I try to fire my potential clients right from the get-go. And I tell them that. I say, look, I might not be the right agent for you, and you might not be the right client for me. Let's sit down and have a conversation and see what we can do and how it can work. But I guarantee you, I can get your home sold for the highest, best price, and I can move you for free anywhere in the 48, so you won't have that expense. And we'll market you to such a high level that everybody on God's green earth is going to know what you're going to do. How does that sound to you? And I just sit there and I just do what my dad's done for 50 years. I just doodle on my pad in front of me, taking notes, making sure that they hear the fact that I'm hearing them. And it is a very powerful tool. Garrett, how does that play for you in regards to the psychology of everything when it comes to bonding with your potential client?
Yeah, so I think, both of you made phenomenally good points. It's at the end of the day. So for example, again, let's go back to the contractor example. If I think I can trust him and I really know that he cares about doing a good job, I'm not going to ask him, well, tell me exactly what is your step-by-step process to build this deck or whatever it is, right? I'm just not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to say, well, I feel like this guy knows what he's doing. I can trust him. He's clearly cares about me. He's not gouging me. Let's do it. Right. I'm just going to believe that you're going to get it done. It's the same thing that you guys are talking about. I don't have in my listing a packet, quote unquote, which I don't even use, but it doesn't talk anything about marketing at all, because I don't think that's what they really care about. At the end of the day, they're just deciding, can they trust me to get it done? And so that's number one. And then number two, to something you were talking about, Nick, as well. So to learn more about this in 2018, I was really curious what consumers really thought as I was understanding this. So I had a client party for all of the people that bought and sold houses with me that year. And I brought them in and I said, look, we're doing a raffle, and I just want you to write down how many homes do you think I sold this year? Right? Because I was just really curious. What does a consumer, what is someone in my database who's friends with me now, who has a relationship with me, how many homes do they think I actually sell? And it literally ranged from 2 houses that year to 1,500 houses that year. And I said, look, if I did 1,500 by myself, I would buy all of you houses, right? Like that's not anywhere close to what I did by myself, but it just proves that they have no concept to what you're talking about, Nick. It doesn't matter if you're a number 1 out of 100 or whatever. They don't know what that means. Nobody understands what that. I don't know if a contractor is the best or the best doctor in the area. Like, sure, that gives value just by having a ranking. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm a consumer what makes a real estate agent the best agent in town. So we need to approach again, and we need to understand, to your point in question, Greg, we need to understand how are they going to make the decision. They're not going to be able to make the decision based off who's the best, because they can't tell nor determine what makes somebody better than the other one. Instead, you approach by building a relationship. And what is it that everybody wants? They just want it. Both of you said it. They just want to be heard. And I remember my second listing ever. I walked in. I knew I was competing with 3 other people. Her name was Kelly Jo, and I was super young. I was 26, I think. It was my first year ever. And I walk into the door, and she literally said, "How old are you?" Right? That was her first question. And I sat down there with her for 2 hours and probably said very little. I listened to her. She told me about how a few months ago her husband had passed away and how hard that's been, and not knowing what to do with moving her kids around and all the different things that come along with that. And then I left, and I thought, I didn't really say anything at all. I knew there was another good agent coming. Well, a week later, she calls me, says, "Garrett, I want you to come sell my home." And I said, "Hey, I would love the opportunity. Do you mind sharing with me why?" And this is literally what she said. She said, "Garrett, because I know I met with 4 people. I can't remember what any of them told me. All I remember is that you actually were willing to listen to me. So I'd love for you to come help me." And that's all that it is, right? You can't have a relationship with somebody in your own life if they're the one talking the whole time. You need them to hear you too. And for whatever reason, salespeople, we just show up and try to tell them, this is who I am. This is why I'm the best. Work with me. And the person's like, okay, well, what about me? This is my life, my story. So I think there's a huge piece of that, just understanding what do humans really want in a relationship and just giving that to them and letting them make the decision based on who do they feel they can actually trust and is going to do their best job.
I need to put a disclaimer here before we get off this topic. I am not saying don't have a listing presentation or anti-listing presentation. I can guarantee you that Garrett might not have a paper presentation or iPad or whatever, but I promise you he has a framework of what he does every single time he goes on a listing appointment. So that's just true. Like you shouldn't read from a script book when you're on the phone with somebody, you should have a framework and a general outline and let that be malleable to exactly what the end goal is, which is to build a relationship first, right? Because you're not going to close a deal unless somebody trusts you and you build that relationship. So there should be a framework, but don't worry about being a new agent and having to have the most professional listing presentation with the most beautiful slides and your iPad ready to go and all that stuff that we get all anxious about as new agents. Don't worry about that stuff.
I absolutely agree.
Let's talk more about framework. I'm thinking about 1,000 things, right? Like, so Greg, one of the things that you talked about when you said, I go in and try to fire my clients, you did something unique there, which I think in the marketing space is the most important thing to do. And that's work backwards. So you went in there with the end result in mind, which was you're already going to close this deal. Let me see if I could talk them out of it. Right. So the thought process there in the marketing space too is the same way. A lot of people make the mistake if they say, I don't really like this marketing strategy because it's not interesting to me. Well, you're not the client. So it doesn't matter, right? When you're marketing to a homeowner, if you're not in the market for a home right now, who cares if you like it? So what I try to teach people to do is I work from all the way out in the consumer psychology space. So I say, okay, what do I think that these people that I want to have as my clients are going to need from me? And that's what I present first. And then I back into the strategy as opposed to the other way around, right? That, we talk about this a lot on the show, and I've always hated this saying, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. That kind of falls in line with the speed of trust. Like, so I'm jumping around here, but from a psychological perspective, you can't make the mistake of thinking about yourself in a scenario if you're not in that scenario. Mm-hmm. So you have to figure out a way to fill the need for your potential consumer until you're able to fill the need for your potential consumer, right? So what I mean is they don't necessarily need your service right now. 98% of them won't, but they will at some point. So what need can you fill in the meantime? Maybe it's just what Garrett said, lending an ear, right? Maybe it's just a matter of listening to them and they weren't able to really talk about their husband that passed away and you happen to be there for that until they need to be able to move. And now they're thinking about you because you filled that previous need. That make sense?
Yeah.
I know I jumped all over the place there, right? But like the psychology for me is the most important part. And when you can zone in on that psychology of the person that you're listening to, not speaking to, but listening to, you're going to win that sale a lot of the time because they are going to by default trust you more so, right? So I'll be honest with you, like when I started my business, I can't tell you how many times I talked myself out of a sale. Sometimes it's just a matter. I still do it today because I get excited. Like I get excited about the product, the service, and then I tend to throw up my knowledge on people that get overwhelmed in my sector, right? Like not that I'm smarter than you, but I've been doing the marketing piece for a long time. So when I talk about pixels and going into YouTube and doing pay-per-click, like people glaze over and I go, shit, I feel like I probably lost them because what happens is in their head, they go, I don't understand what he just said. And so therefore I can't spend time figuring this out. I'll have to put all this on the back burner until I can spend the adequate amount of time to deal with it. So now what I've learned to do is I go, listen to me. I think I have an idea as to what you need. Let's talk about if I'm the guy to do it for you, right? And then we establish that rapport and that trust. And hopefully the pricing, there's other elements to this, right? Maybe my pricing is too much. So some people won't be able to afford it or don't want to spend that. I get that. But the ultimate end result is that I'm really not selling the fact that I can post for you on Facebook or create an ad. I think anybody can do that if you go through a webinar 101. It's more about, can I bring you the creativity and the information that you need while we're doing it? By the way, there's also another thing too. Well, I've gotten into a position where I was telling Jake this, I think a couple of weeks ago. I want to do business with people, right? But when I get in your space, if you're not the kind of person that I can see myself and my family on a yacht with down the road, stuck in the middle of the ocean, I'm probably not going to long-term be a fit for you, right? Because that's just kind of how I run my business, where before I didn't want to talk my way out of selling something because I needed the income. Now I need to be comfortable with my partners more so than the income, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great point. Garrett, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was going to jump in there too. And I love what you said, Gene. And the reason why I'm so passionate about sharing this and teaching this with agents to help them understand is, number one, if they can get closer to 100% conversion rate, number one, it saves you a ton of time, right? You're not going after 150 appointments to get 50 of them. You go to 50 and get 50, or 51 and get 50. So you have a lot more time. It significantly increases your confidence because you just assume walking in, you're going to get it. And so you can be more of yourself. You're less afraid. And then number three, exactly what you said, Gene, which I love what you said, is when people talk to me about what it's like to have freedom owning a business, I say, look, here's the reality. You're thinking about it in the wrong way. Freedom is not having money, though obviously that's important. Freedom is not owning your own business. It's a lot of work. Freedom is being able to have choice over who you're in business with. That's the freedom. That's why I want to help you generate a lot of potential business, because then you can decide, like you said, Gene, then you can decide if that's someone, and I say the barbecue test, that you'd want to invite over for a barbecue. That's what you're looking for. That's what freedom is having a choice. And so I love what you just said, Gene. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping agents understand this. And certainly you guys are too.
And Garrett, think about the residual of that too. Like there's so many unknown factors that come into play when you're in business. So for example, I serve my clients better when I like them because I pick up the phone, right? Like, those clients where you call and the phone rings and you go, oh my God, I can't deal with this right now, versus, oh my God, yo, what's going on? Let's talk. Right. So like the confidence level goes up, your happiness goes up, which means your salesmanship or womanship, whatever, is higher. You're more confident. Like everything kind of relies on that. And when you work in a space that you hate, or you're working for people that you hate, it becomes a burden and you don't produce. It's almost like a diet, right? Like if I eat well, you can tell when I'm eating well because I'm on the top of my game. I'm firing on all cylinders, right? Like you get it. Where other times when I'm eating like shit and drinking too much, you can see it in me. I'm not as quick. Maybe I'm not as funny as I usually am. So like, I think there's so many elements to that. And when you're in a space where you can choose who you work with and your psychology is at a high level, you get better and therefore are able to do more business because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I think is so true is, well, number one, I've had 6 donuts today. So if I'm a little slow, I apologize. I love donuts and I can't stop eating them when they're at the house. But yeah, I mean, the reality of just business is way too hard to have one and be building it in a way you don't even like. Right? What's the point of that? And so understanding, again, that you can pick and choose who you want to be in business with. But if your skill set is high enough, that's what you need. You need a skill set high enough to generate enough business so you can look around and choose, who do I want to be in business with? Instead of, to your point again earlier, Nick, yeah, have a listing presentation. But the agents that are so worried about how their listing presentation looks and everything that's in there, not to say don't have a really good one, but that are so worried about that are the ones that are also so worried that if one word is off, they won't get hired. And I'm telling you right now, if you go into an appointment that way, you're not going to be able to build a relationship with them or them to trust you because you don't even trust yourself, right? You're so afraid that if one word's wrong, you can't say, you know what, that's right, I'll fix that, whatever, that was a mistake, I apologize, I'll fix that later. If you're so worried that you can't say that without losing their attention and losing the ability to be in business with them, then you're in trouble just in general. So you've got to get out of your own way and you've got to start learning and upping your game, which in my opinion is just upping your knowledge. So knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power, right? So you learn things and then you figure out how to put them into practice. And then you show up the next time a little more confident and the next time a little more confident. And then guess what? Then you get to freedom and you get to choose how you want to do business because so many people want to work with you. And I think there's a great beauty in having a business like that.
I agree 100%. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So I think what's interesting is that you twisted that a little bit. Like we've been talking about the psychology of the consumer, and there is another psychology we have to entertain here, and that's our own, And I think if you're at the tip top of your game, it becomes easier to make more money. I said that in the previous section here, but and I want to answer a question. You said, I don't know why you would be running a business that let's just say for argument's sake, you don't like. And I've been there. And sometimes it's just a matter of, you got to do it because you need the revenue, right? Like there are certain things you need to do, especially if you're starting out as a real estate agent, if you haven't prepared properly. There's things that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to take that listing with the owner who's going to kick the shit out of you. You're going to need to take this listing. Like, I get agents that are brand new and they're going, I don't want to do an $80,000 trailer home. Is that wrong? And I go, depends on your lifestyle. Like if you need that commission, yeah, it's wrong. If you don't, because you've trimmed the fat and you're running lean on your bills, then no, you don't have to. And you can pick and choose that. Right. But I think the psychology of having that type of business is important from our perspective, because there are people watching this going, yeah, that sounds great in concept, but I can't turn away business. And I also get that. I understand that conundrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's
go ahead. Go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, if you really want to get woo-woo, right? The psychology of yourself and taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your world. So really that pain in the ass client that you didn't want is 100% of the time a result of your expectations you set for them and how they've interacted with you. So if you are consistently having pain in the ass client after pain in the ass client, we need to turn around and look within to see what your processes are, because it might not be the client.
So what's really
good is the client.
What does that say about our friendship?
I always answer your phone call though. So
You do. Absolutely. Sorry, Garrett, I cut you off, brother.
No, but yeah, I mean, I think that's really, both of you, I think that's really good. And to what you said, Nick, and also Gene, what you're talking about, it is the reality of, yes, I agree with you. When I started, I'm taking anybody and everybody, doesn't matter.
Right.
They're referred, doesn't matter who it is, I'm taking them. Now, I would go a step further though. So I'll give you an example. So I had these two clients, Jason and Christina were their name. And it was one of my first clients ever. And I remember sitting down with them. I'm fresh, I'm new, and I'm wearing a suit and tie, right? Because I didn't know that's not what I'm supposed to do. And so I'm sitting down in front of them, and I'm having a buyer presentation with them. And a few minutes in, Jason, the husband, says, Garrett, I've done this 3 times, man. Like, don't waste my time. Whatever. Just tell me what I need to do. And I was like, wow, what did I do? I didn't say anything. Like, we were having, I thought, a decent conversation. And he was just rude the entire time. Right. Just a jerk, a massive jerk. Now, Christina didn't really say anything, but this guy was just so mean. And they ended up leaving. They leave that night, and we were going to go see some houses the next day. And I'm thinking, like, man, do I even want to do this? Because I didn't want to do it. And then I thought what you said, Gene, but I need this. Like, I'm brand new. I'm not making any money. I need to work with these people. So the next question I had to ask was, because I'm a firm believer of, if someone's going to act that way, what you see on the surface is not really what's going on. There's got to be something deeper, right? There's some other issue that's causing stress and frustration, and they don't know how to let it out. So they just let it out on me for whatever reason. That's just my assumption, right? So I asked the second question, what could I do tomorrow instead of just continuing this pain because this guy is a jerk? What could I do that might flip our friendship around? Right. So the next day, I show up at these houses. I show up with a card and a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. And the card just said, I know moving is stressful. They were coming from Oklahoma to Virginia. I know moving is stressful. I hope you all have a chance just to take time together and just go out on a date night. Right. I gave that to them. They opened it right away. And man, did it change their perception of me. And man, did it change our relationship literally right away. Now, that doesn't always happen, but literally right away. And guess what? From then on, our relationship was awesome. From then on, they've sent me multiple referrals, right? And it was just an understanding of, yes, some clients are just difficult. Let's just be honest. But there are also some clients that are difficult, and we are unwilling to ask the next question, which is, well, could I change my relationship with them? And if so, how? And we're unwilling to even go for that. And so then we just get stuck in the business working with people that we don't like. And either A, that's going to burn us out, or B, we never learn beyond just, well, I guess they're just terrible and this is just what this business is. We need to learn beyond that and see if we can change the relationships and fix whatever's going on with them just by showing them kindness or whatever it looks like. And that's one way you can change your business around too, because yes, you got to take whatever you got to take. I was that way as well. But the reality is, you got to take whatever you got to take, but could you shift that relationship around? And I think we need to be asking that question more too.
Yeah.
I fucked up, man. I should have been a dick to you. I could have gotten a free meal out of it. Damn it.
It's not too late, buddy. It's not too late.
So I've been quiet listening behind the scenes, and there's been some very powerful takeaways here. So Garrett went ahead and shared the perception level of most of the people that you're going to come in contact with are only at a level 2 in comparison to a level 10 of what you know to be true in real estate. So you have to speak well to your audience. A couple things I went in and wrote down. Now, when Nick was talking about being prepared, ladies and gentlemen, always be prepared, because the next step down the actual psychology journey of your customer is the lifestyle orientation of who they are. So we have 2 people. I wrote it down, judgers and we have perceivers. You're going to end up running into a house and you're going to run into one or 2 of those people, judgers and perceivers. The judgers like control. Okay. They like definitives. They are schedule oriented, deadline oriented. They like those practices. Your perceivers, on the other hand, are flexible, tentative, open-minded, adaptable, spontaneous. Okay. So I would highly suggest that you come prepared for those people who want to ask those questions about how to build the deck. I'm that guy. If I have a contractor that shows up at my house, what boards are you using? How long is this going to take? What are your dimensions? How is your foundation laid out? I want to know all of it. If you run into me, ladies and gentlemen, if you're selling my house, come prepared. Just saying. Okay. Now, another thing, the actionable steps that Garrett is taking for his business, ladies and gentlemen, he said earlier in the show, 30 touch points. Okay. I want you to all think about the actionable items that you have in place for your business. Consistency, actionable items. All right. Now, always be thinking about what are the practices. And we also heard today from Mr. Nick, if you don't have process, procedures, systems in place, you're not really running a business. This is true. Okay. So what is the systems that you have running? What are you doing to acquire customers? What are you doing to convert them? Now, Garrett talks about conversion, increased in conversion. For me, throughout all of the years, we're talking landing page optimization, conversions, things like that. Some of my friends are the top 0.01% of marketers in the United States that are doing conversion split test optimizations for companies like Nestle, Google themselves, Canyon, okay, Panasonic, and many others, to where one little fine micro tune on a website increases a 0.0 whatever percent type conversion, which equals multiple millions of dollars for those businesses. So these are all things that advanced marketers think about. Now, 80% of real estate agents are going to drop out of the business because you're failing yourselves. You're not taking action. Most people that I've seen start something and then stop. Oh, it's not working. Start, stop. There's always this start and stop. Every time you stop or a process that you've put in place that you know to be true that works, even core fundamentals. If you're shutting down your website, if you're stopping your advertising, if you're stopping increasing your conversions, stopping increasing additional touch points for your consumers, and then understanding, getting more and prepared, you're going to be in this constant tug and pull always in life, while all the rest of your competitors are reinvesting into their business, reinvesting into their marketing, building consumable content that talks to the behavioral nature of each one of your consumers. You have to stay consistent. If today you have a loss, literally what you have to do is go ahead and pick up your britches and charge hard forward even more. If you have one loss here, go get 3 more positives, but never stop. Always be charging hard forward. So Garrett is a perfect example of understanding how to go ahead and speak properly to his business folks out there, getting into a position to receive, setting up the systems, having multiple touch points, and he's engaging and he's putting out consumable content. So if you want to be in part of the 20% class, go ahead and take a page out of Mr. Garrett's book, because what I've seen here today, ladies and gentlemen, is he's prepared, he's educated himself, he's went down the rabbit hole, he's read and understood the psychology behaviors of people and consumers and how to fine-tune his business and actually take actionable steps. So cheers and charge hard, ladies and gentlemen. It is my birthday, and God bless you all.
That is a great place to end this, as long as I can find the dang button to push here. Let's wrap this thing up. We're going to let the birthday boy go last. First off, Garrett, where can people get a hold of you, get more kind of your content, kind of reach out to you? Do you have products, books, courses? How can people become like you?
Well, I think they should aim higher. But so my training company is called Business by Referral. So businessbyreferral.co is where you go to learn all about it. Businessbyreferral.co. And I teach a lot. Our members get access to tons of video training, the action plan every month. So if you, like you were talking about, Jake, if you want to have the consistent actions, we give you everything that you need to do that I'm currently doing. So we just hand that to you every month. I teach every month. We've got a podcast, so if you want to check us out there too, Real Estate Your Way is the podcast. So just look us up there, and then Garrett Maroon. You can find me on Facebook. I think I'm the only one, maybe. And by all means, reach out. I'd love to help in any way that I can.
That's fantastic, Nick. Where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm just looking for more friends on Facebook. It's real simple, right? This iOS 14 update's really fucking me up, and all my Apple friends are gone now. What's going on? No, I'm just kidding. Just in the eyes of the Facebook pixel, it's been pretty hairy. Anyway, I am intending to open up my Facebook group again. So all of the listeners, if you're listening to this on the replay, you've seen me on Real Estate Uncensored for years now. I had a Facebook group. We were doing some awesome things. I let that go for the past year-ish while I was getting my health in order. But I'm ready to charge hard, as Jake says, and reactivate that Facebook group. So there's going to be some awesome things coming. So instead of just asking for a friend request, I will be getting people into my world on Facebook as far as a group setting, and we're going to do some awesome shit.
I'm going to create a second account, Nick.
All right. That's who the fuck paused me? All right, you sons of bitches. Jake Wolf, where can people get a hold of you? How I mean,
Clever Leads with a K. It's spelled right down here. We'll dress you for the success party because those are the parties that we throw. And Mr. Garrett, I'd love to go ahead and actually talk to you after in the post show. I'd like to build you a few 30-second commercials, premium 10-level styles that you can go ahead and deploy for your business and test out into every smart television around your town. So
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep, absolutely.
there it is.
There it is.
And Gene Volpe, if you say they can't get a hold of you, I will literally meet your ass and kick you out the motherfucking show.
You're not going to do anything like that. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you something real quick. Nick, I am starting a rival Facebook group.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. You can find me at I'm a grown ass man, therefore I have an android.com.
Love it.
And so if you ever want to get out of the, like, if you're done being an Instagram influencer, or you're just out of the teen years and you want to get into the big boy club, hit me up at that Facebook private group, and I'll show you how to use real technology.
Oh my God. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
How come my chat bubbles are green when I text you? Get out of my space with that shit.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I just heard God calling you back to heaven. Goodbye. Okay, now back to the conversation. Here you go.
Did you just wish me dead?
Damn.
It sounded like you just
kind of. Yeah, that was.
I die tonight. You'll feel like shit tomorrow.
No. We love you to pieces, my friend. Gene Volpe, Garrett Maroon, Nick Sackis, Jake Wolf, Oh yeah, I haven't gone yet, guys. If you want to reach out to me at any point, feel free. You can call me 925-915-1978. It's attached to this handy dandy little thing. And yes, I pay my bills occasionally. So yes, you will be able to get a hold of me. Love to answer any questions for you guys. We are doing hiring right now. We're bringing people onto our team for EXP. We have some incredible things. We are launching that bad boy right there across the country, and it is working like a charm. For all you guys who are listening, audio only, I put up a picture of a giant moving truck. Jake and I are working behind the scenes with Clever Leads, and it is absolutely insanityville how well this offer works to get more business into your account. So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know. But anyways, gentlemen, Nick, Jake, and Gene, you guys have one job and one job only at this point. And you need to come up with 3 different colors for the bow for the show. So what we got, Jake, start with you.
We're going gold today, baby. It's my birthday, but I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lime into the tequila. So
okay, golden lime. I love it. Nick, what do you got?
I'm going with purple. I actually saw a rainbow today on the way home from taking my 4-year-old to school. It was pretty interesting. One of the best rainbows I've ever seen. So I'm going with purple. That was the first color I saw.
All right. I like that. Gene, the Volpinator, what is your color for the bow?
I'm going to go with brown because Jake is old as shit and shit is brown.
36, Gene.
You know he just called in an airstrike on your house, right? Just letting you know that. Did you not know what he used to do for a living?
I do know that he knows my wife and children are in the house. He'll wait till they at least leave.
We don't know. See, look, 3 phones. You don't know which one the call is coming from. Garrett, you're a legend amongst men. Thank you so much for spending some of your time in this Cinco de Mayo with us. Guys, if you guys like this show on any of our shows, please go and give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review on any place and every place you guys watch your podcast or listen to your podcast. It helps the algorithms get us back up in front of more people. Also, please tag Garrett, tag Gene, tag Nick, tag Jake, tag me, whoever you found the most value, so this can continue to grow. Follow Garrett everywhere that he is. Follow Gene, follow Nick, follow Jake. You can follow me too, because I'll love you. I got a big heart. Matt doesn't love you. I got a big heart for you. It's okay. And so we're going to put a gold/lime/purple/old as shit brown bow tie on this show. Jake is shaking his head like, you motherfucker. But you guys, we love you to pieces. Thanks so much. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. Work.